Right, hello everyone, welcome back to We Talk. In a week that's been weird for Scottish football, Dundee, yet another game postponed. A big weekend ahead, some really big fixtures in there, and I'm joined by Hearts fan Graeme. Graeme, how you doing?
I'm all right, mate. Thank you for having me on. How are yourself?
Yeah, I'm not bad. You excited for the weekend games?
I am. I am hoping that Hearts get the job done against Livingston. If we get beat, I'll be fuming. But yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, just before we get into the games, we'll quickly touch on the announcement today from Dundee. Kick-off was meant to be in an hour against Rangers. Dundee have had another pitch inspection and have deemed the pitch unplayable. It's been postponed. There's been a lot of news on TikTok and a lot of opinions. What's your thoughts on the whole situation?
Farcical, but not surprising. I really wasn't surprised when I heard doing another pitch inspection at half-3. I thought this game's not going to last. And it's shocking. I mean, it's now 5 games postponed at Dens Park this season. It's not good enough. I think their director came out and said that climate change, really, Dundee United's pitch is fine. I just think it's a joke. I mean, I don't agree with the whole thing about point deduction because I don't think the Dundee players deserve that. This is a lot higher than them. I think it's an absolute joke. Now, they're talking about playing the game next week, but again, it's going to be will the game be able to get played? It's shocking. It's an absolute farce.
Yeah, I agree. Obviously, I think we spoke about it a bit with the point deduction stuff. I think you said it's not fair on the players to deduct points off them. I think a fine would be more the likely option, if any. But I'd be interested to know if they maybe move it to a neutral location, maybe go to another stadium and try and host a game there.
I think there's been talk about that, and somebody did say earlier on that I saw a post that if the game can't get played at Dens Park, it'll get played at Ibrox. Again, that wouldn't surprise me either, but they need to have some contingency in place because it's just an absolute farce. I mean, we looked at the game last week against Motherwell and thought, how's that game going on? And it was a decent game, to be fair, but if that game isn't on next week, and it also, it's got repercussions for the top 6 because Motherwell and Hibs play on Saturday. They're not going to know if that result on Saturday is going to matter with that game next week. I just think it really is an absolute disgrace and they need to do something about it. I think it should be a fine. I don't agree with the point deduction. It should be a fine.
Yeah, I'd probably agree. Looking ahead to the games then, Aberdeen versus Dundee kicks off a Saturday card. What are you thinking for that game?
It's a difficult one because Aberdeen have been so poor this season, so inconsistent. They still don't have a manager yet, although it looks like Jimmy Thielen will be put in charge in the summer, who looks a decent appointment. And Dundee have had a very good season. They're sitting in that top 6. Gutted that they didn't manage to get that top 6 done last week. They would have put Hibs bottom 6, but there you go. But I just don't know. This is such a tough game to call. I mean, at home, I think Aberdeen will probably be slight favourites. I think Aberdeen might just sneak it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Dundee get a result here.
I think it could go either way. I've said it before. I think since Warnock left Aberdeen, they've looked a much more comfortable side on the ball. They're a lot more threatening going forward. I could see this going really anyway, but I'm going to go for a 2-0 Aberdeen win.
I'm going to go 2-1 Aberdeen. I think Dundee have got threats going forward, like McCowan and Bakayoko, and I think they'll get a goal, but I think it'll be 2-1 Aberdeen.
To be honest, it wouldn't surprise me though if Dundee did pull off a result. I mean, that is just one of them games where Dundee sort of could get the result. But moving on, a Celtic take on St Mirren. This is a game that I am quite frankly terrified to watch. Our record obviously isn't good at either of the Old Firm stadiums, which isn't surprising. Not really any team in the league has a good record going to any of these teams, but I think we need to try and be optimistic. Now, I'm so glad last week that St Johnstone done us a favour against Hibs, which secured our top 6 place, which was good. Obviously, we lost out to you guys in an actual decent game considering the conditions. But I can't see anything in this game other than a Celtic win, unfortunately. So I'll kick it off and I'm going to go Celtic 3, St Mirren 1.
Yeah, I mean, I do think Celtic will win. I thought first half against Rangers last week, they were dominant. Should have had that game wrapped up by half time. But for me, this is a free hit for St Mirren. They've managed to get top 6. I don't think many folk expect to go and win at Celtic Park. I think they have caused St Mirren Celtic problems in the past. And obviously that game last week, I thought St Mirren second half were probably a bit better than Hearts. I think they adapt to the conditions well second half. But I do think Celtic will win. I'm going to go 3-1 Celtic here.
Yeah, and I have also been promised a bet with my co-host that if St Mirren beats Celtic, he will buy me a kit of my choice next season. St Mirren's home or away, so let's hope St Mirren can cause an upset. But moving on, Hearts play Livingston. Now, obviously, for you, you're heading along to this game. You should be really expecting the Hearts win here. Do you think it will be as easy as it's made out, sort of on paper?
No, I don't, because earlier in the season we only beat Livingston 1-0, and Livingston are probably the most defensive team I have ever seen at Tynecastle, and I don't think that will change on Saturday. Now, with the players we've got, the quality we've got, I think Shankland's back, Neuenhof's back, we've got Barry Mackay fit, I think Benny's back as well. But even if they weren't, we should still have a strong enough squad. It is a game that we should be winning, but I think we need an early goal. I think if we score early, I think we'll go and win 3 or 4, but the longer the game goes at 0-0, I know what it's like at Tynecastle. Our crowd will go really flat. So that's what Livingston we're looking for. But it is a game that I do think Hearts should win. But I'm going to go 2-0. I don't think it'll be the 4 or 5 that a lot of folk think it should be. I'm going to go 2-0 for this one.
Fair enough. I do agree with you. Livingston, even when they came to us, they're such a defensive side. You know, did they really play for that draw of the game? I think this game could work and Livingston might get the early goal. I think they will get the early goal. I think they'll stun Hearts a bit. I think they'll commit the traps. Maybe Tete Yengi gets the early goal. Yengi? Is Yengi in it? It plays for Livy?
Yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
I always get him and Theo Bear mixed up. I think Yengi will get the opener, but I think Hearts will keep their way back into it. So I'm going to go 2-1 to Hearts, and I think Hearts will maybe score late on in a late goal game. But I don't know. This could be so weird. I mean, Hearts could just go out there and just win 4 or 5-0. Like it's been nothing, and Shankland could score a hat-trick. But again, Livingston are just one of them teams. But I think it's safe to say, would you agree that they're going down this season?
Oh, yeah. I mean, they really have given themselves far too much to do. I mean, really, realistically, they have to win on Saturday to have any real chance of staying up. The only thing I would say for them, if they manage to win, hopefully they don't, they're playing teams in and around them after the split. But I just don't see any way they're staying up. They're not good enough defensively. They don't score enough goals. You know, at the back, Michael Nottingham, Oberlai just don't look good enough. I don't know why David Martindale persists on playing Joe Newbley at right wing back when he's not a defender. I just don't get that at all. So they are definitely going down. And I think I've said previously as well, the worry for me if I'm a Livingston fan is when you go down, I think you could be there for a while because the Championship is such a difficult league to get out of. You've got Falkirk in the next season, potentially Hamilton. I think Livingston could really struggle. I think they could be there for 3 or 4 seasons. I genuinely do.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Hamilton, for example. I mean, they went down and they've just never been the same since, and they defend themselves in a League One promotion fight. So I think I agree. I think the same will happen to Livingston. I think they'll go down there. I just don't think they have the capabilities to get back up yet. I think we'll maybe see them in another maybe 5-10 years try and get their way back up. But I agree. I don't think it will be soon anyway. But moving on, Motherwell take on Hibs. This is another big game. Obviously, I'd say this is probably the biggest game in terms of what it means for both clubs. I think obviously, Motherwell have got that slim chance again for the top 6. Hibs need that win. They should be in the top 6 realistically. I'm going to go for this game 3-1 to Hibs. I think Hibs will go away and get the job done, although I do expect a tight game, and I think Motherwell will score first. What about you?
This is the game of the weekend for me. Absolutely. I think it's a really decent game now. If you look at Motherwell, Kettlewell had gone 15 games without a win. You're thinking he could be sacked. He's done really well to get anywhere near that top 6. But I think, Hibs got lucky last week because they got beat by St Johnstone, but then Dundee got beat. They got very fortunate, and I think you'll see that as quite lucky. I think Hibs might just sneak this, but again, you don't know what Motherwell team's going to turn up because one week they could be really good, the next week they could be awful. I think Theo Bear will cause them a lot of problems, though. His pacing behind, and that Hibs defence against the DB looked very, very flat-footed. So I think Motherwell will cause problems, but I hate saying this as a Hearts fan, but I just think Hibs might just sneak this by 2-1.
All right, fair enough. Obviously, one Motherwell player that you guys have confirmed for next season is Blair Spittle. How delighted are you to get that one over the line with how good a season he's had?
Buzzing, and I didn't see it coming. because we signed him on the same day we signed James Penrice, and I did not see that coming. I've seen a few things on Twitter saying there's potential for it, and I thought that's not going to happen. And about 10 minutes later, it was. Delighted. I think he's been Motherwell's best player by an absolute mile. He's made a lot of Theo Baird's goals as well. And it's what Hearts should be doing. You know, taking the best players of other teams, because the Old Firm have done that for years. It's about time Hearts did that, and he's the one player I wanted. He'll add creativity to us that I think we badly need. He'll add goals. He'll add assists. I think it's a great signing. Fair play to Hearts for that. I think it's a brilliant signing.
You absolutely broke our hearts with that signing. I was so convinced he was coming to us, and then the news came out that he was coming to Hearts, and I was gutted. But I think you guys could take another couple of players. I mean, there's more players in that league, like us, Bacchus and Strain are two examples, out of contract at the end of the season. Could you see Hearts maybe try to take a punt at either of them?
I would like Ryan Strain. We need a right back. Our right back situation has not been great this season. Atkinson and Lembakisa, for me, just haven't offered enough. Lembakisa's a bit unfortunate because he's only 20. He's on loan. I don't think he'll stay. Atkinson at times really worries me. I think he's a bit of a bomb scare at times. I would definitely take Ryan Strain. I think he's a really good player. Again, I've been asked numerous times what back is. Yes, I would definitely take him. But we might have a lot of midfielders now because Spfl there will be there. Dander's there. You've got Benny still there. Haring, Devlin. We've got a number of midfielders there. Macaulay Tate's coming through. Denham's coming through. But he's certainly a player I would like. But for me, Ryan Strain's one I want. We need a right back, and he definitely fits the bill for me.
Yeah, I think Strain's a great right back. I mean, he can sort of play in that wing back role as well, more attacking. But he's done that with us this season, linking up with the right winger quite well. So I could see it, as much as it would pain me to see a Hearts team with Blair Spittle, who was almost at us, Ryan Strain, and potentially even Shankland if he stays around. That would be horrible for next season. But moving on to the final Saturday game, St Johnstone take on Kilmarnock. In a game that's weird, obviously we spoke about St Johnstone picking up the result at Hibs. I did not expect that one bit. But Kilmarnock, obviously that fourth place team, I've already given Derek McInnes my manager of the season award, because it's just phenomenal the work that he's done with Kilmarnock. So this game's going to be a weird one. What are you thinking in terms of how this game will go?
Yeah, I don't see it being a classic because a lot of games at McDermott Park very rarely are. But I mean, that's a big win for St Johnstone last week. That was the result of the weekend for me. I genuinely don't think anyone thought St Johnstone would go there and win that game. And Kilmarnock for such a great season, and I would agree. I think McInnes is definitely up there for manager. He's done a great job, signed really well, got a lot of real quality out there. Danny Armstrong for me has been one of the players of the season in the league. But I do think Kilmarnock will probably win this. Again, maybe by 2-1. But like I say, St Johnstone are such a weird team this season as well, because 1 minute I thought they're going to go down, the next I think they've got a decent chance of staying up. They've got to take confidence in that game last week, because that was such a huge win. But I just think the way that Kilmarnock are playing, the quality they've got, I can just see Kilmarnock winning this.
That's fair. I think I'd agree with the quality. I mean, that Kilmarnock team is incredible on paper. I mean, the way they've went about the business this season's like I've not seen it for a while. I just think, I think I put Kilmarnock maybe 7th at the pre-season predictions. They've completely lived that, and I'm going to be honest, I love seeing that Kilmarnock team do well, mainly because McInnes. I really like McInnes as a manager, and to be honest, I love to see him as Scotland manager 1 year, hopefully, if it all goes uphill for him. But for this game, I'm going to go St Johnstone 2, and I'm going to go Kilmarnock 0. I think St Johnstone will pull out a shocker here. Although it could go either way. Again, Kilmarnock could go out there and win the game 3-1 maybe. But for me, I think St Johnstone will take it. And then on to the Sunday game, live on Sky Sports, is Ross County versus Rangers, in a game that I really don't know how to predict. Rangers struggle against Ross County at their ground. I think most teams do in the Premiership. For me, I think this will be easy though, because you look at that title race after the Old Firm, it was an absolute cracker of a game. I think Rangers need every point they can get, especially with some of the postponed games coming up as well against Dundee and stuff. So they'll need these points. I'm going to go for an easy 3-0 to Rangers. What about you?
Yeah, and Rangers will know as well that Celtic will probably beat St Mirren, so they've got points to make up. I don't see anything other than a Rangers win here. I think County make it difficult. Simon Murray's in decent form, but I just don't see Rangers dropping points here. I think Ross County, like I said, will make it hard, but I can see Rangers getting an early goal and then just killing the game off. I think it'll probably be 3-0 to Rangers as well.
Yeah, and obviously just moving a bit on to Hearts, third this season. I think first question's got to be asked, how have you enjoyed having Stephen Naismith in as manager?
I wasn't convinced at first. I thought he was the wrong man for the job. I didn't think he had enough experience. I would have given it to somebody else. But I've got to be honest and say that he's turned it around. And it's really been from December onwards. We're now 2 defeats out in 19 in all competitions since we lost Aberdeen. So he's done a great job. I think he's definitely learned lessons. His in-game management is a lot better. Obviously, it helps when you've got a guy up front and Lawrence Shankland that bangs and goes left, right, and centre. But I generally think he's done a great job. He's got us to 2 semi-finals, hopefully a final to come. I think he's done a great job. We're going to be in European football next season, which again is brilliant. So I think he's done a really good job. He was under a lot of pressure, and I think probably rightly so at the start of the season, but he's definitely turned it around. I'm really pleased. And it's now a year that he's been in charge, and I generally think he's done a really good job.
Yeah, and obviously you mentioned there Shankland. He is my player of the season, I think. Any goal scored outside the Old Firm that will reach 20 goals in a season deserves it. I see a lot of people in your TikTok lives saying, Shankland to Rangers, Shankland will obviously go to Rangers. Where do you think he'll go after Hearts? Because I don't think he'll go to Rangers. I just don't see it anymore. I think if it was going to happen, it would have happened maybe last season on January. So I'm intrigued where you think he'll go.
I genuinely think if I could take a poll of the most asked questions I get asked on TikTok, it is, do you think Shankland to go to Rangers? And I've said it numerous times, no, I don't. Rangers didn't want him in January. I don't see what's going to change between then and the summer. I don't think he's a Philip Clement player, which I know sounds daft because you want a goal scorer. But the way Philip Clement works, he wants his strikers to press high up the park. That's not really Shankland's game. Shankland's a natural goal scorer, unlike Cyril Dessers, of course. But I just think Shankland, if he's going to go, I think he'll go down south. He's tried it abroad in Belgium. It didn't quite work out. But I think he would definitely do a job in the English Championship. I just don't see him going to Rangers. I just don't think he's a Clement type of player. But I'm hoping, beyond hope, that he stays. We've given him the best offer we can give him. Now, there's no rush because he's still under contract. I'm hoping end of the season he'll actually say, do you know what, I'm going to stay for a while longer. 27 goals this season already, 28 last season. He's going to beat that. He's been phenomenal. And I've said it before about Shankland. His all-round game is a lot better than folk give him credit for. His hold-up play is really good. His link-up play is really good. I've said it countless times. He should be starting for Scotland, and he doesn't. Now, I know that the games that we had recently against Holland and Northern Ireland, they probably should score, but strikers miss chances. I just think he's class. He's the best striker I've seen at Hearts since John Robertson. And given the fact that Robertson retired in 1998, it's a bold claim, but it's true. Shankland's just phenomenal.
Yeah, he's a great player. I agree with that point, actually, with the Scotland games. I think a lot of people at the time were writing him off because they missed that big chance. I mean, it happens in everybody's game. We have 2 other strikers in the Scotland team that would easily miss that chance because I think, in my opinion, I think Shankland's better than both of them. And I agree with you. I think he should be starting. I think he's the best we've sort of got up there. Although I don't sort of diss Che Adams' quality at times. I think he can be good. He is good on the ball, he run, but I'd still agree with Shankland starting up there. Obviously, you touched on as well European football. The new format comes into play next season. How much do you think that could sort of mess up Hearts' season? No mess up, but how could it affect Hearts' season in a way? Obviously, with how many fixtures will be played.
It's going to be tough, but that's what you've got a squad for. I don't think we were quite prepared for it earlier on. I think it was last season. I think it was. We weren't really prepared for the group stages. I think we should be better this time, though. We'll have learned lessons from that. Again, we'll sign quite a few more players as well, which will help. So, playing potentially Thursday, Sunday is going to be difficult, but we've got to be ready for it. These are the things that fans love. Yes, playing your bread and butter league games is fine, but playing European football is completely different. It's such a brilliant occasion. And I'm looking forward to it. If hopefully we get there, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be brilliant. And like I say, I think Naismith will have learned lessons after last season. And I think it'll be really, really good. I genuinely do. The games at Tynecastle as well will be fantastic. The games against Fiorentina and Başakşehir weren't great. But what an experience it was. Genuinely, being in European football is brilliant. I'm looking forward to it. I really am.
Did you manage to get a majority of the Hearts home European games this season?
I got to a couple of them. I've not been away from home yet. I want to try and go away from home. So if we get some decent ties next season, then hopefully we'll get into at least 1 or 2 away games. But again, I've heard numerous Hearts fans talk about the trips they had, and I just get jealous because I think I want to go to that. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it'll be class.
What would be your ideal away day then? Say you could travel anywhere to watch Hearts play. Where would you ideally like to go?
Probably a team in Spain. I'd love to go to Spain. Anywhere like that would be great. Or even like, I wouldn't even mind a wee trip. I don't know, like even like an English team. I wasn't there when Hearts played Liverpool away from home. I was at the game at Tynecastle, but not at Anfield, which I would have loved to go to as a Liverpool fan as well. I would have loved to go to that. But even like a Villa Park or something like that, just something a bit different. That would be quality.
Yeah, I mean, as a Sunderland fan, we don't get many of them, so if we can get it this season, I'd be glad. But I think I'd love to go as far away as possible. I could just imagine going on like a 20-hour flight, switching plane, then another 8-hour flight just to go to like Kazakhstan or something to watch Sunderland away. I think it would just be funny. But obviously next season, I think it's safe to say Hearts will get third this season. Next season, the big question going around, can Hearts challenge the Old Firm? How do you see next season going with that mix of European games, and can you maybe try and take second place?
I think I go in every season hoping that Hearts can challenge, but I know realistically it's not going to happen. You've got to be consistent. You've got to win every week like Rangers and Celtic do, and we just don't do that. We'll maybe win 5 or 6 games and lose 4 or 5. You can't really do that realistically, so I'm realistic enough to know that probably won't happen. The European games, yeah, they probably won't help. But like I said, we should be more experienced about that, and we'll bring more players in, which should help that as well. So I'm looking forward to next season. Obviously, we need to get this season done first, but I'm looking forward to next season and the challenge. Now, I've said it previously, I expect Hibs to be better. Hopefully not. I expect Aberdeen to be better. Hopefully not. But I'm expecting a bigger challenge next year. I think St Mirren will be up there again. I think Kilmarnock will be up there again. It should be a really competitive league. But Hearts just need to strengthen the right areas. Priority's got to be right back. Like I've said previously, if we get Ryan Strain, delighted with that. But I'm looking forward to what could happen next season. And just, again, seeing European games back at Tynecastle as well, I look forward to those games.
I agree. I think it could be such a big season next season for a lot of teams. I think teams will get better. Yeah, like Aberdeen and Hibs. This just sort of feels like them off seasons that the teams get, that the Old Firm don't really get, but every other team seems to have. Now, before we go, I need to ask the question. It is COVID season. Hearts are playing St Mirren and Paisley, and John O'Beaker scores a goal. I need to ask, what was your reaction for that whole season in general?
It's strange, to be honest. We had Daniel Stendel, and a lot of Hearts fans didn't like Stendel. I didn't actually mind him. I think he was the right guy at the wrong time. I could see what he was trying to do. He was trying to get the team to play like a real kind of pressing game, and he just didn't have the players to do it. Ironically, he's still the only manager recently that's actually managed to beat Rangers. He did it twice in that season. We've not won a game against them since. But it was just weird. Like, we went to Easter Road and we won 3-1, and we were brilliant that day, and I thought, we've got a chance here. Then we go to Paisley and play as poor as I think I've seen us play all season. And I genuinely thought at the time, I thought, right, this is unprecedented now. We won't get relegated. The whole court thing happened, and I thought, they won't send anyone down because it's unprecedented. And then they did. It was just a very bizarre season. But listen, I made no excuses. We were awful that season. Like, we deserved to go down. But I just think, and I've said it previously as well, and this isn't aimed at anyone in particular, I just think for me, they should have stopped the league and they should have basically reconstructed the league and brought 18-team leagues. I've said that for years and years. They've missed a chance to do that now, because I just think playing the same teams potentially 4, 5, 6 times a season, if you get the cup games, it does get boring. I think I'd like to see it extended, bring other teams into the league to make it a bit more interesting. But that season was just weird. And when John O'Beaker scored that goal, and I know St Mirren fans still talk about it to this day, which is fine, I get it. It's a laugh. But yeah, it was a really strange season that season. Nothing went right for us that season. And of course, COVID was just one of these things that happened. But yeah, it was just very bizarre. Because like I said, we went to Easter Road, and honestly, that was an amazing night. I was at Tynecastle watching that back on the beam back, and I thought, I even from my mate after the game to say, we're staying up. And we didn't. Gutted.
I mean, that season was just weird for, I think, every team. I mean, we were in that relegation sort of battle as well. at points. I just remember like that season was mental. Celtic had the worst back line I think I've ever seen in history. St Johnstone somehow won a cup double, and Jim Goodwin decided to play Livingston in a cup semi-final and sit back defensively and try and play counter-attacking football. It was really, really strange. I don't think I sort of expected Hearts to go down that season, but obviously, you go into that championship season. I think it was safe enough to assume that Hearts were going to storm that league. I mean, they're not like a Livingston or stuff that when they go down they will struggle, if you get me.
Yeah, the championship, when we got relegated the last time because of the whole administration stuff and we had Hibs and Rangers in the league, we were brilliant that season. Absolutely bastard teams, won the league very comfortably. And I thought, I don't want to be in that position again. And then, of course, we were. And the second time was just brutal. We played some awful football. It was terrible to watch. It was also the same season we got beat by Alloa in the League Cup and Brora in the Scottish Cup. And I thought, yeah, this is not good. Can this season please just end now? It was horrendous. And when we came up, even when we won the league, there was no mass celebration. There was no enjoyment because it was just audible. You just wanted out of that league. And I'll say it again, like I said that time, I never want to be in the championship again because it's horrible. Nothing against the teams in there at all. I just don't want to be in there again because it's not nice.
I mean, I don't think it will happen again. I think this Hearts team is just going to be that third place team now. I mean, one thing you should be glad is you don't need to play in that Viaplay Cup group stage stuff. That is really, really bad. I mean, we had Jim Goodwin come in the door, get knocked out of Dunfermline 3-2 at home. And then we had Stephen Robinson come in the door, and I think he won one game out of the 4. So, I mean, that tournament is really bad. I hate it. I'm glad, hopefully, if we finish 5th or 4th this season, we don't need to play in that again, because I think it's a really bad tournament format, especially for the Premiership teams. I just think, we go into it with so much expectation, and that's your cup hope is done already. But I suppose in a way that does make it fair as well. I mean, you look at like the other sports or that, people get free passes sometimes into tournaments and stuff. I seen done in England, I think it's, can you not get into the Champions League for like your coefficient spot, even if you don't get in the top 4? So, I mean, I suppose it makes it fair, but again, as a Premiership club looking at it, you really don't want to be playing in their games.
Yeah, I've seen us playing it a few times, and it's, the early stages are absolutely rubbish. You don't get decent games in there. It's basically pre-season games you're playing, but it's a competition, and it's just, this was a few years ago now, we played East Fife at Tynecastle, and I was in hospitality for that, and I thought, I'm just here to really have a drink, because this game means absolutely nothing. I mean, we won comfortably, and then we won 3-0 that day, but there was no enjoyment. It was just so easy. And some of these group stages, you get that. There was another season we played, I think it was Cove Rangers, I think we played, and we got docked up. I think we got docked a couple of points for that because we played in eligible player Andy Irwin, I think. But yeah, they're basically just, it's a rip-off pre-season game. Nobody wants to play them. And I'm glad that we don't have to play it. I actually did say earlier on, the draw for that is like in a couple of months' time in that. And I actually thought at that time, I'm so glad we're not in that because I don't want to be in that.
Yeah, I think the most entertaining parts of that group stage is the draw. I mean, we've went into it the past few times, so I hope you get Martin, which, that makes a decent game. But even at that, you still just don't even want to play in it. It's just so boring. I'd rather invite a couple of English lower league teams up and play them in a couple of pre-season friendlies than play any of them. But we'll wrap it up there. Thank you so much for joining me, Graeme. Where can people find you? And obviously, I know you do a lot of TikTok lives and stuff, so feel free to promote anything that you do in your podcast and stuff.
So I am on TikTok. If you basically, I am on Twitter, I should say, or X, because I really don't like calling it X because it just sounds rubbish. I'm on X as GD, so you can find me on there. I'm also on TikTok. You will find me under Hearts Enthusiast. Yeah, I do a lot of stuff on there. It's actually, I only joined it a few months ago, and I'm actually quite enjoying doing it. I do a lot of live stuff, and it's really, really good. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying it.
Yeah, I mean, I uploaded my first video, I think, last week or the week before. And it's been fun. I mean, I was saying to you before, I mean, you don't get a lot of Scottish football content creators on like TikTok and stuff. So like having people like you and Mikey and stuff, it makes it better and it makes it a lot more fun to talk about football.
And I think as well, I've always said, and you do it as well, I've always said that when I do my TikToks, yes, I'm a Hearts fan, but I always try not to be biased because I'll also talk about stuff that isn't Hearts. Like today, I did the whole Dundee thing. I've done an Aberdeen stuff before, so I do try not to be biased. I mean, a lot of the folk that I get on my TikTok lives appear to be Old Firm fans, so just ask me the same question over and over again, which is fine. I still answer it, but it's like it gets to a point where you just think, please stop asking me that. Just don't.
Aye, you see that a lot, especially when the Old Firm game was coming up. I noticed a lot of what's your score predictions for the Old Firm. That was going in quite a lot, but no, listen, it's been fun joining your lives and stuff. Obviously, I'm sure you're going live tonight at any point. Or
Very possibly, yeah.
Yeah, make sure everybody keeps an eye out for that. Upload should be coming back now. It's been a bit of a break, stuff has happened, but we are coming back, try to get these out weekly. So, Graeme, thank you so much again for joining me, and I'll see everyone next time. Goodbye.